Are you ready to learn? Please turn up your volume to hear the narration during this training. If you're in a cubicle or other open area, please use earbuds or headphones. There is a learning check at the end of this content. You need to score 100% to pass. Introducing the Oz Principle, Accountability at Day & Zimmerman. Day & Zimmerman is a company whose people have embraced accountability as part of the daily culture, rooted in our core values of integrity and success. Our success depends on people who can see through the haze of self-preservation and smallness, people who want more out of their careers and themselves. Day & Zimmerman ECM President Mike McMahon requires us to embrace a culture of accountability in our offices, and our guidelines for that come from a book you may have already received from your manager, The Oz Principle. This training module is designed to introduce you to the Oz Principle, Day & Zimmerman's culture of accountability, the terms we use to describe it, and what that means for you as a new employee. There are 3 outcomes for this training. Upon completing this module, you'll be able to use accountability language, the terms used in the Oz Principle. You'll be able to identify behaviors that are above the line and below the line, and additionally, this training will provide the foundation for you to be able to discuss accountability and how it applies to you and your work with your manager. What is the Oz Principle? The Oz Principle is a book that uses an analogy about the characters in The Wizard of Oz to make people think about accountability and provides a framework for incorporating accountability into your career. What do we mean by accountability? It's the personal choice to rise above one's circumstances and demonstrate the ownership necessary for achieving key results. See it, own it, solve it, do it. The highlight you should focus on in this definition is that accountability is a personal choice, and accountability requires action. The language of accountability. Accountability tools. We assess instances where accountability comes into play by considering the line. Perhaps by now you have heard someone use the terms above the line and below the line. What does that mean? Being above the line is when we focus on seeing the situation at hand and we own it, solve it, and do it. Staying above the line requires us to focus on things we can control and not worrying about what we cannot control. It moves us toward achieving results and success. Staying above the line is all about accountability. It is action-oriented. Staying above the line doesn't happen to you, you happen to it. Then there is below the line. What does it mean to be below the line? People go below the line when individuals look to blame someone else instead of taking accountability to move above the line and achieve results. Below the line behaviors include wait and see, confusion or waiting for someone else to tell you what to do, saying, "It's not my job," ignoring or denying, finger-pointing and assigning blame, and covering your tail. It's looking away from the circumstances and trying to explain rather than to act. It's natural for people to occasionally dip below the line, but it's important to get back above it as quickly as possible. Lingering below the line delays success. Striving to stay above the line, accountability in practice. Now you understand what above the line and below the line behaviors are. You know the words, but what do they mean? Are these examples of behavior above the line or below? You received an email that you don't quite understand. Do you need to do something? It isn't clear and you're so busy. You decide it's easier to just wait and see what happens. This is an example of below-the-line behavior. Wait and see is a term that denotes inaction. You're not taking ownership. You're passive. While preparing a report for your manager, one of the numbers seems off to you. You decide that the best thing to do is to go back to the person who provided the information and ask for clarity so you can be sure that the report is accurate. This is an example of behavior that is above the line. You perceived a problem, took ownership, and did something to solve the issue. Do you know the story of The Wizard of Oz? It's a fantastical tale where several characters undertake a long journey to find someone to solve their problems. They are off to see the wizard, someone who is supposed to be able to fix all of their problems for them. Sometimes it can feel like our coworkers and managers are off to see the wizard, that success lies in someone else taking action. The book you'll read reminds you that the solutions to the characters' problems were close by all along. The solutions resided within each of them. The book can help each of us to get to the solutions that reside within us. Only when you assume full accountability for your thoughts, feelings, actions, and results can you direct your own destiny. Otherwise, someone or something else will. The takeaway from the Oz principle is that we must give ourselves permission to take action and be accountable. So, how do we do that? Taking action. Are you familiar with head nodders? The head nod signals an unconscious agreement. It's a contagious and common practice in meetings when a statement is made that nearly everyone would agree with. It makes us feel good to agree with what a speaker is saying. It promotes positive emotions. But nodding your head doesn't assign ownership, and it doesn't communicate that anyone is to take action. For instance, here at Day & Zimmerman, you'll frequently hear people say, "Safety is our core value," and it is. This is a great head nod statement. Who can argue with that? But who is doing something about it? How do we keep it number one? What actions are required, and by whom? Accountability requires more than a head nod. Accountability requires action to help achieve the key results. Let's go back to the idea of the line. Is it wrong to go below the line? It is wrong to go below the line and to stay there. We all go there from time to time, just don't get stuck there. When we do find ourselves below the line, it is important to recognize that we are there and not to spend too much time there. Achieving our key results will come when we are above the line. There are many opportunities to increase accountability and step out from the crowd. Here are some places we can demonstrate more personal accountability. Meetings with customers or colleagues that we could conduct or attend. During our day-to-day operations, by looking for ways to make things better or more effective. And as we work toward achieving our goals in key result areas. When you keep in mind the understanding that accountability requires action, it becomes easy to see that staying above the line achieves results. Things happen because of your influence or work. When you go below the line, the results are victim behaviors, things that happen to you, not because of you. Please respond to the following questions regarding the Oz principle. Remember that a passing score is 100%. So now it's your turn. Think about your job description, the work you'll be doing, and identify your key results, those things you will be accountable to achieve. Approach your goals in a way that allows you to own it, solve it, and do it. The language of Oz is part of the culture at Day & Zimmerman. Use the terminology from the book like above the line and below the line in your daily conversations. Access a number of Oz Principle resources by clicking on the upper left corner of your screen. And if you haven't already, it's time to read the Oz Principle book. These are action items for once you've completed reading the book. Next, you will discuss Oz with your manager. He or she will schedule a meeting with you to talk about accountability. It doesn't have to be a PowerPoint presentation. It can be an informal meeting about expectations for your role, your work, and how both of you and your larger team will be accountable to achieving results. Once you have the discussion, your manager will send an acknowledgement form to the Training and Development email box. Thank you for participating in this Better You module.